Okay, Stig. Paul put quite an in-depth and honest update out yesterday about kind of negotiations with players and where he's at with that. Um, and I know he continues to work extremely hard behind the scenes to try and get things sorted and over the line, doesn't he?
Yeah, 100%. I had a really good chat with him yesterday morning, and we've been exchanging messages pretty much every day, as you would expect. Even when he's been away having a bit of a break, we've been exchanging messages. Yeah, I think that, yesterday's update was very honest, very heartfelt, and um, I like the fact that he is so honest. Obviously, sometimes perhaps honesty might not be the best policy sometimes, but I think it's not. His update yesterday isn't any reason for panic. These are the early season negotiations that quite often take place. Clearly, you want to try and get players tied down as quickly as you can. At this stage, there's been no agreements reached with players, but that's not to say there won't. Conversations are continuing, but I think Paul, needs to make it clear to everybody that he can't wait forever, and he's got to move on, and he's got to try and start making sure that he has got his plans in place to build the squad. Clearly, we're hopeful that we'll retain a good number of the players that we had last season because they did very well for us, but you can't rely on that. And at the end of the day, players have got every right to look around for the best option that they've got out there, whether that's a financial incentive, whether that's a higher level, whether that's full time, whether that's hybrid, and they've got every right to do that. Equally, we've got every right at some point to start looking elsewhere. And as Paul said yesterday, he's got to start his work now to try and start making sure that he can put a squad together. And I'm confident he'll do that. He's shown over the previous 2 seasons that his recruitment generally has been really, really good. And I know he's working hard, and he'll ensure that is the case again. So, like I said, no need to panic. It was a very honest update just to give people a sense of where we are. But again, that's not to say that we aren't going to see any of the players that we had last year again. It's just a case of seeing how negotiations go over the next few weeks, and whether we've got other options in certain areas that we might decide are better.
And obviously, the ambition of everyone, kind of boardroom through to Paul, is to improve on the last 2 seasons and hopefully go kind of get into the playoffs this season. So in terms of him not really having the luxury of being able to wait too long for players because he wants to get up and running.
That's 100% right. I mean, it's the nature of the beast, really. At this level, it is more often than not players are on 1-year contracts, and therefore you can find yourself in this position where you're waiting on players. There aren't many clubs that are handing out 2-year deals, 3-year deals at this level because there is an element of risk with that. We're looking ahead positively. That's all I can say. We've had 2 really good seasons. Clearly, the end of last season was a real disappointment. But when you consider where we were 2 years ago when Paul took over, it's a very different place now. The way we're looking ahead is very different. We're stabilised. We can make decisions that we want to make now, as opposed to decisions that we had no choice about. Really, there was a stage we just had to do it in the way that we could because it was the cheapest way. But now we're in a much better position where we can actually make more strategic decisions. So I can reassure people that the ambition of everybody at the club is to get the club to the highest possible level we can. We've got to do that sensibly. We can't just get rash about it. We've got to do it responsibly. We're not going to start spending a load of money that we don't actually have. That would just be absolutely ludicrous, and we can end up in a hole that we've all experienced as Hereford fans in the past, and we're not going to do that. But absolutely 100%, we're looking to push on. We're looking to better what we did last season. 1 point from the playoffs with a record points haul, and that's what all our minds are focused on, and that's obviously what Paul's only focus is, really, because that's his job as our employed football expert.
A lot of planning has gone in already for next season. Obviously, season ticket prices and such like, and there should be news on that kind of in the coming days, really.
Yeah, we had a board meeting on Monday where we think we finalised everything in terms of the season ticket prices. Obviously, we wanted to wait to see what league we might potentially be in before we made that decision, which was a nice problem to have, that we were waiting to see. But equally, it does mean you're just a little bit behind the 8 ball in terms of the normal process and the normal sales times. But yeah, I think we're there now with the agreed season ticket prices. I think we're really sort of pleased with the decisions we've made in relation to those prices, and also match day admission prices, and we'll look to roll that out as soon as we possibly can to get that sales process going. Obviously, it takes a little bit of time just to upload everything to our ticketing system. I'm not part of that. I'm talking, like I said that like I'm some sort of expert on our ticketing system, but I'm not. But it does take a little bit of time to get everything uploaded on that. And obviously, there is the process that we need to ensure that season ticket holders have the opportunity to renew their seats first. So we've got to try and do that as well. So that'll all be part of what's going on. I know you and Emma in the office are really busy working your way through that process.
Yeah, that hopefully, by the end of next week is the plan, is the aim. But obviously, all the reservations for seated season ticket holders take a bit of time, but that's all ongoing. And lots of other things off the pitch as well during the close season, boring things like barrier testing, structural surveys, and the like. But a little bit more exciting is the installation of new floodlights. That makes me sound very sad and boring, but
yeah,
you can get excited about floodlight pylons.
Well, it's been quite an ongoing saga, hasn't it? As we all know, and you consider that work actually started to install them in October, and then they had to stop because of the level of water that was in the ground at that point. But yeah, no, work is due to start on site on Monday, starting with the 2 new pylons at the Meadow End, and then once that's completed, doing the floodlights at the Blackfriars End. Obviously, they're starting at the Meadow End because they need access across the pitch with the machinery to dig the holes and fill the concrete and everything. So they're starting at the Meadow End, and then once that's completed, they'll be off the pitch completely. And Ben, our incredibly smiley, happy groundsman, can start his work in terms of the pitch refurb for the summer. And obviously that comes after all the schools finals and things that you'll no doubt mention we're hosting as well.
Yeah, kind of a reduced fixture list for the schools and junior finals because the trackway has to be laid down the pitch for the installation of the floodlights. So we can't host any 11v11 games this season. But including 9v9, all the age groups under 11v11 are going to be playing on the pitch. So we got 2 evenings next week. I think there's 6 school finals being played over those 2 evenings, and then the following weekend we got the boys finals and the girls finals all being played here. So yeah, it's great to kind of have all those kids. I think normally there's kind of over 500 kids get to play on the pitch in the summer. Obviously it won't be quite as many this year because of the trackway on the pitch, but it's still a great experience for them, and we look forward to hosting all the games next season when there's no floodlight work taking place. So yeah, that's all good, keeping us busy at the minute as well. Just turning our attention to the women's team, obviously finally crowned champions on the weekend, halfway through a double header, I believe.
Yeah, that's a test, isn't it? That you win the title between 2 matches. That's a bit unusual, I reckon, to know. No, I mean, how fantastic to be double winners, essentially, aren't they, this year, with the County Cup win as well. They've had a fantastic season. I was following the games on Sunday with great interest over the power of social media and the power of X, and it's so well deserved. I think it's taken quite a while for actually to achieve the final points tally because of games being postponed and the gaps, and I think the season seems to go on and there are gaps between fixtures, but they've had a fantastic season. I'm incredibly proud of them all, and Malcolm and everybody who puts in so much hard work behind the scenes. It's huge congratulations to them. Moving forward, I think it's important that we say that we are, as a club, looking to bring the women's team even closer to the football club, and also the under-18s. We've obviously, it's well documented over the past couple of years, we've had a lot to be dealing with, and a lot of work was being done to stabilise the club again from where we were. But now we feel we are stable again. We're looking at making sure the under-18s and the women's team really do come under our banner fully. The CIC have done a great job looking after them for the past couple of years through the community programme, but I think we all feel it's really important that they truly become part of the club and feel loved by the club, because they are. It's just not been ideal for us over the past couple of years. But moving forward, there's going to be meetings over the summer with those responsible for both teams, and I'm really looking forward to sort of bringing them in closer and having them as part of the football side of the club in more detail.
And in turn, that would allow CIC, I guess, to concentrate more on their community initiatives as well. If the club pay more attention, if you like, to the women and the 18s.
Yeah, 100%. The CIC's, the CIC board, it's been going for a year now, separate to the club board, with a representative of the club board on it. And they've been doing a great job. They've done a lot of work to sort of reassess where they were, review where they were, and look how they can move forward in the best way possible. Obviously, Izzy's, well, she's not new now, but Izzy's been doing a great job in her role leading that work. And I think it's going to be really exciting to see the direction of travel. And we're not in any way, shape, or form sort of sidelining the CIC from any involvement in the under-18s and the women's team, but we just feel it's only fair, and it's fairer to them that we take more of an oversight of both teams and have more involvement in them. So that's what we're looking forward to doing.
Just finally, then, with the shop, just like to say it does remain open for its normal hours throughout the close season. So every Tuesday and Friday, 10 till 4, the shop's open. And in terms of the shirt, obviously, with the M&M deal and them manufacturing the kit, that we should hopefully in the coming weeks have some details on definitely the home shirt being released and on sale, and then the away kit and training kit closer to the season as well. But we're really pleased, obviously, with that deal, with the relationship we got with M&M, and things are looking really positive on that front.
Yeah, no, I know you've been kind of really excited by how quickly things have moved in terms of the manufacturing of the equipment and the greater variety of sizes that we're going to be able to stock, particularly in the replica shirts, right down to little babies, which is something that's been long wanted by many people, I think. So it's going to be really interesting, really exciting. I have seen a glimpse of the kit and I really like it, which is great news. Not that I've got any great fashion sense, but I really like it. And yeah, looking forward to that going on sale, that arriving, going on sale, seeing it in the flesh, and then getting it going. And then, that then just whets your appetite for seeing the lads and the under-18s and women's team proudly wearing it throughout the course of next season.
Yeah, literally size-wise, it goes from 6 months to 5XL. So I think we've pretty much got everyone covered on that. So and the baby toddler kits are literally they are just mini versions of the kit. It's not like sometimes you have a kit that looks a little bit like it, but it's actually the kit. So we're quite excited. It looks really good.
And I'm hoping that you mentioning 5XL wasn't a jab at me or anything there, Jay.
No, not at all. No.
Excellent. That's fine. Yeah, no, it'd be really good. And I know M&M are really excited to be part of it as well, which is great.
Yeah, very good. Lovely. Well, I think that's everything covered for now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll have the news. As I said, news about the season tickets, within the next week or so. Try and get that information out there. I know people have already been messaging about when they're going to be on sale and that sort of stuff. So we'll try and get that sorted, and hopefully, of course, we'll hopefully start to get news coming in about potential new signings or re-signings and that sort of stuff. So sort of nervous time, but an exciting time. But it's always the same. In my 2 years so far in this role, it's never been any different at this stage. So we'll see how we go.
It can test your patience, close season, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.